What's up, everyone? Brendan here with my buddy Anthony. Anthony runs a podcast. What's your podcast name again?
The Scalability Podcast.
And normally I call my podcast the Partners Podcast. So today we're the Scalable Partners Podcast, and we're going to talk about how we're going to scale our businesses in this coming year.
Yeah, and real quick, guys, a big part of this is actually me asking questions and taking notes because what was happening before we even decided to set up this podcast, we were sitting in the living room where, it's Christmas, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, so pretty much like we're both deciding to sacrifice and focus on business instead of going out and being with our families, and we were just having like these talks, and Brendan was just spewing all this value, and we were like, bro, well, he said, like, dude, look, we got to go podcast this.
Yeah.
So we're going to basically continue the conversation from where we left off. So again, this is mainly going to be a lot of me listening to Brendan. So just to give you guys context, not that he's not a good podcast host and doesn't let other people talk, because he's actually a really great podcast host. But this one right here is mainly Brendan giving value. So we started off the conversation with reevaluating our entire strategy moving forward.
Let's zoom out. Let's give context. Sure. Context is Anthony and I have been business partners for four plus years now, and he's helped staff over 40 VAs at our company. I think even more at one point, right?
Sure.
When we had full on a photo editing team that he helped staff. Some things don't work out, so that didn't work out as well as we anticipated. But all in all, Anthony, through Outsource Plug, has helped my companies, Aerial Canvas, Acre Agency, and numerous of other of my friends' companies staff virtual assistants. They're quality English fluent speaking individuals that have a great work ethic, show up on time, get the job done, and we decided to partner up on an even greater level. Anthony and I are now.
Matter of fact, can we take this call?
Actually,
listen to this call.
All right,
So, hey, what's going on, Diana?
I'm just returning your call.
Thank you. Hey, I had a question because I'm sitting here with Brendan and we're basically re-strategizing and we're talking about like consulting and whatnot. And I had told him earlier, I was like, dude, you need to talk to Diana, or she needs to like give you her perspective because, we've been breaking down your company and building operations for you. And when we first started, I remember like it was kind of hard to believe that it could be scalable. So I wanted like you to tell Brendan, and you're on loudspeaker right now, like from your perspective.
Hi, Diana.
Hey, Brandon.
From your perspective, like what's it looking like now, and like just what have we done so far?
Well, you've introduced to my business scalability in the sense that when we were operating and making decent money, we were running off no CRM, no dial pad, no Slack, and so everything that we did was basically bootstrapping the business like 100%, manually doing things. And so now we have tools that allows us to communicate, with other team members and save a bunch of time. And now I can see that yes, this is scalable. And so that was at the beginning, about a year ago. Today, a year after, now that we understand how the CRM works and what we can do with it, we're basically, building sales departments or sales teams, research teams, different teams that we didn't have before, so that we can, build our sales team, get a bunch of clients, and just scale and expand.
Yeah, and can you touch on real quick like the research, right? Because I remember like when we first like started looking into research and breaking it down, I remember like you had like some limiting beliefs, like because you've been doing this thing for years, you know so much about the industry, and it was kind of hard to believe that someone like overseas or in Latin America could actually do the process. And then we just had a meeting last week, right, with Krisha and Hema, and they both killed it with research. Can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I had this limiting belief where I was like, no, I have to teach someone to do it a certain way. They have to know what I know. They have to learn how to do this. They have to know how the U.S., system works. And I had all these beliefs that I was just like, in a way, doubting that it was possible. But then after we created some training programs or training documents, to get that information out to whoever, then we're like, this is totally doable. We can just teach them, show them, make them understand, and they can go ahead and run with it.
And do you remember your reaction when they bust down their first piece of research? Because like, and just to give you context, Brendan, like the type of research that she's doing, like it's very intricate. It's not like step by step. It's a lot of critical thinking that happens throughout this entire research process. And what we did kind of like law firm style, where because she is a debt collector, and she basically collects on judgments. So there's a lot of like lawyer. Kind of stuff involved there, but when we kind of did like I imagine like Suits, the TV show Suits, where they're like breaking down a case and whatnot. So I was like, dude, let's just like have some fun with it. Let's have a meeting and let's have people present their research, and then when they present their research, like other people can give feedback and I would have done this, or did you think about that, right? And then Diana, what was the result?
Well, they did. I mean, we're talking about two individuals who I didn't train and taught them everything that they needed to know before doing the research. We just told them, hey, this is how you do research. Go ahead and do it. So I was very surprised at how, with little information that they were given, they were able to just produce, what we needed.
Yeah, that's what happens when you hire skilled individuals. You no longer have to hire someone that you have to manage, but you just hire someone who gets the job done and they provide value. And obviously, there's always some level of management and feedback. But when you hire a professional, like whether it's you as a debt collector or someone as an accountant, you pay them for the job to be done, and that's what I think a great team member and employee is someone that you don't have to micromanage and someone that takes initiative and just gets the job done and keeps pushing what's possible. So I'm glad to hear that you had that experience. We're looking to provide that experience with even more, business owners. So I do have a question for you, Diana. Do you know any other business owners that potentially are struggling to grow their business this year, or might even have considered doing some layoffs in this type of economy that would still benefit from more help, through outsourcing?
Yes.
What names come to mind?
Well, I have a really good friend of mine. She's in the insurance industry, and I see her, she's doing well for herself. But obviously, within the insurance business, it's super scalable, right? We're talking about like farmers, state farms, et cetera, et cetera. So she has one location right now, and I see her having like, she calls them salespeople, or people who go out and get her new clients. And so I see her working with them, and they do everything in person. And I have told her about virtual assistants, but I don't think she's really thought about it. So it would be, something to present to her and be like, hey, try this out.
And does she do insurance for like families or businesses or both?
Both.
So here's an opportunity for her. What's her name?
Suki.
Suki?
Yeah.
Japanese? Or Korean? Mexican? Oh, cool. Great name. Well, Suki interacts with a lot of business owners, and oftentimes, she has in her mind a product that she's looking to sell. And I've found the best way to help someone is not selling someone something that they don't necessarily need at the moment, but to just provide help, genuine help. And I think most business owners that she's interacting with may or may not benefit from having a virtual assistant. So I think it might be worth an introduction, because I think indirectly we can still help serve her clients better. Do you believe that?
Yeah, and then the thing about Suki is that she knows, since she does business insurance and workers' comp and all of that, she has an infinity list of just clients, like new business owners per se.
Yeah. And we'd love to provide a platform where, she can experience a VA on her own. If she's able to send us a referral, we'll give her a VA for free for, 2-3 weeks just to do whatever research or busy work that she needs help with. And she can see everything firsthand. And I think I'm a big believer in you gotta taste it, you gotta feel it before you really believe it's possible, right? And if we can provide that opportunity to Suki, that would be amazing. You think you can make an introduction via a 3-way text with Anthony after this call?
Yeah, well, Anthony knows her, so it's not going to be hard
Okay.
to introduce. But
If you could do a text though, because I know of her and she might know of me, but we actually don't like really know each other.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. And I think in the new year, my goal is to help every business owner realize that they can do so much more than just their business if they connect amazing people. And let me know what type of connections you may need, since I know a lot of people in business, that we can make a greater world together, like a more productive, constructive world.
Yeah, and actually, hey Diana, so you know what's crazy about this call right now? So I'm in San Diego. Brendan and I just became equal partners in Outsource Plug. So this is why we're actually here, and we're shooting a podcast, and you called, and now this is like on the podcast, right? So I'll hide any info that you want or whatever when we launch it. But how crazy is that? And also now that we're working together, you have access to Brendan a lot more, and this guy is an absolute beast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, I just woke up.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who don't know about Diana, she works 24/7 around the clock. She has a really amazing story. Hopefully one of these days she'll let us get it on a podcast, because what she has done is like extremely significant, especially for women out there who like have never really started anything being an entrepreneur. And here Diana comes and gets it right on her first try. And I think that her company, Wealth Recovery Solutions, is going to scale to be a multi-million-dollar company. So, but yeah, Diana, I appreciate you reaching out or calling me back.
Give her girl some heads up.
No, but if I gave you a heads up, you would be so unnatural, because you want to be so professional. But like, you talk to me the way that you talk to me, like the way we talk to each other, and that was great. I love it. But yeah, Brendan, any questions, anything?
Yeah, appreciate your time, Diana, and looking forward to meeting you sooner than later. And happy holidays and a happy new year.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, later. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. So guys, that was like completely unplanned, unscripted.
Yeah. So I mean, everything's possible is what I like to teach people this year. It's all the world you have, the opportunities you get are the ones you think you deserve. And if you think you deserve an introduction and your goal is to help people, then you deserve more introductions than you can ever imagine and handle. If you don't ask, you never get. So that's why I always have intention in asking, if I can't help you, who can I help? And can I help them help more people? Because I think in business, one thing I've learned being in service-based business is I love helping people succeed. I love helping people get results, and when I see that happen, and it comes right back in a thank you, a form of a thank you, a form of a referral, that just means I'm doing the right thing in life, and I'm building, and I want to keep building because I want to leave a legacy. I want to build something that is greater than me, and so. Let's jump back into the podcast. I know I'm in my more formal podcast setting. I know you're good at helping me loose up.
Yeah.
We were talking. So you announced, or we just announced that let's re-announce. Anthony and I are now equal business partners at Outsource Plug. My goal is to not only help take Outsource Plug to a 10x, but in the process, help 100x more people.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's compounding effects of what we do. It's not just about the revenue, the money, but 10x means we've essentially taken on 10 times as many clients and helped 10 times as many business owners provide that many more jobs, that many more opportunities, and get their time back so they can spend time raising their family, traveling the world, you know, actually having time as a business owner, having time to go on vacation. Because a lot of the business owners I know, including myself, we don't stop working.
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's the other part of that too, which is helping people in the Philippines and Latin America as well. Because like a lot of, you know, we have so many success stories. And I was talking to our business partner in the Philippines, Kim, and I'm like, hey, like I constantly hear you tell me like, you know, like people literally come to her crying, thanking her because of the opportunities that we've given, the doors that we've opened up. And I'm like, man, we need to capture more of this and talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's been people who have been able to buy cars and houses, you know, in third world countries with the income that they make through Outsource Plug. And you know, that's something that we haven't done a great job of like highlighting those type of stories, right? Because when you're doing business with us, it's not like you're just doing business with any company. You're actually making an impact in somebody else's life, especially with the type of culture that we push and the way that we look for clients, right? Because we don't work with just anybody and everybody. We need to make sure that when we're hiring for a company that they have a great culture, that they know how to treat people, that they have systems and processes. Because if you don't have those things in place, it just turns into a toxic work environment for people overseas, and that's something that we really pride ourselves on.
Yeah, and you know, we definitely want to avoid, you know, anything that detracts from our goal, which is, you know, at first it was about the money, because like when you don't have money, it's always about the money. How do I get the money? How do I get rich? You know, how do I make enough? But once you have enough, and as long as you don't just keep upgrading your taste, and like, you know, for me, a BMW is as nice of a car as I'll ever need. You know, yeah, if I were to become even more wealthy, I'd consider a nicer car. But for me, that's like the 99%. And so once you have that wealth, you start thinking about what you can do with that wealth. And wealth and money just, it's an accelerant on who you are, right? We've heard this before, that money just amplifies who you are as a person. And if, you know, your intention over time becomes a good intention, money just helps you amplify that good intention. And I think our intention is to help as many business owners, to impact as many, you know, would you call them, is it considered a third world country?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They are considered third world countries where we hire. Yeah.
Yeah. So like taking individuals in third world countries that have, you know, first class like attitudes, and first class as in like the best type of attitudes, not like they're snobby sitting in first class. That they have just amazing attitudes and personalities, great work ethics. Have them see an opportunity where, you know, they're not entitled. They're so thankful. And if you're a business owner watching and you have the opportunity to work with Outsource Plug, I think you'll see that firsthand. You'll see that the individuals that you bring onto your team, not only are they willing to work their ass off, they're also willing to, you know, well, no, they're not willing, they are so grateful for the opportunity that you can provide. So I think business owners that are considering hiring overseas, it's the best of both worlds. You save money on labor, you get a hardworking team member, you're helping them, and you get so much gratitude back. That's like the best type of employer or team member I could take on. You know, that's why I just brought on a team member in Colombia, Laura, and it's pretty awesome to see like what level of opportunity I'm able to provide. And she's 19 and she's hustling and she's taught herself English, and it's awesome to see that first.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like I'm 30 years old now, and I've been hiring in the USA since I was 18, right? So I was a manager at 18. So I have 12 years of experience hiring people, and I can tell you right now, in regards to entitlement, man, we have so much entitlement here in the U.S. Okay, and when you start hiring people, from third world countries, especially when you have a great opportunity, man, you'll notice. Like I've had so many of our clients come up to us and say, "Hey, Anthony, can I buy my person a house? Can I send them like?" We have one of our VAs works with a commercial real estate agent, and this year they made over $6,000 in bonuses. So pretty much every time that commercial real estate agent closed a deal, they sent them bonuses. Like, that commercial real estate agent, like, I made them aware, like, hey, $6,000 like in bonuses on top of their salary, right? This person is like balling out of control right now.
Yeah.
Okay, like they've probably never made so much money in their life because their salary is already above market average. On top of that, they get to work like very flexible hours. So that's just an example of like a client who absolutely doesn't even have to pay that money.
Yeah.
Right? If they never gave a bonus, it would be fine. But because they're so appreciative, they want to give so much. And I feel the same way about my team too. Like I find myself, giving like random bonuses all the time. Or man, like when I find out like somebody's getting married or somebody got engaged or, somebody had a kid or it's a kid's birthday party, bro, I send stuff all the time. Like
That's dope.
Yeah. Like I'll sometimes send like the equivalent of like a monthly salary and like, here you go. But that's just because I am so appreciative. Well, like when I need something, especially because I'm pretty crazy when I'm thinking of like new initiatives, new ideas, and the way that I kind of dump them out on my team, it can be very like kind of like a tornado. Right?
Yeah.
And they always manage to push through. So, if you're not working with a virtual team right now and you want to experience that, man, it's just like no other feeling, especially in business.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds. It's a great business opportunity, and it's a great feeling. It's a great human opportunity to be able to. You're not doing charity by any means, but you get the same feeling of doing charity, and you get business done, and you get the value. So why not? Why not triple dip?
Triple dip.
Let's zoom out. So now that we're business partners, I really wanted to help us capture more opportunity. And for those who are watching, what we want to do is we want to provide actionable things that you can take to your business so you can close bigger deals with higher profile clients. And we talked about, helping the average individual. And this is what the podcast is about. Like, we definitely want to help everyone. Like if I had the time in the day, like I just took on a client, and I wouldn't call it a charity case, but it's just like I'm doing it for half off because they really need it, and I'm like, okay, let's just get it done. Let's do it. I want you guys to see the results, and I really feel amazing going into New Year with this strategy, with these tactics, with these assets in place. But I wanted to hone in with you because
Sure.
You and I are business partners, and the first thing I want to touch upon is, how to identify the right opportunity.
Yeah.
We talked about it, and I'm gonna go very general right now, and then I'm gonna zoom in
Sure.
for us. For you to be the most effective in business, it's all about identifying who's your ideal client and what niche you're serving, because when you can identify both of those, your messaging becomes that much more clear to who you can serve.
Yeah.
And so what do I mean by that? I could say, hey, I help any average business owner staff VAs. Any and every average business owner is going to come at me, and I'm going to have to figure out their business, and I'm going to actually do a disservice to them. I'm going to underserve them, because as much as I care and as much as I'm willing to learn about everyone's industry, you're the loudest typer I've ever heard. I don't know if that's going to show up in the podcast. But hey, our personalities are coming through right now. I'm very direct.
And I'm very
Yeah.
like, if something bothers you, I do more of it.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the goal at hand is like, once you identify a niche and an ideal client, you're going to be able to target your message that much better. If you serve every business owner, you're going to have to figure out every business owner's like business, you're gonna give them general advice, which they probably are hearing from everyone and anyone. Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee advice. And those people are way more reputable than you. Versus if you niche down, you can give them very targeted advice that is actually going to help them first understand you're the expert, you understand their industry, you understand what's working, what's not, and then beyond that, you're going to be able to one, get that expert credibility. To actually provide them expert advice because you understand other key players in their industry and what's working for them and what's not. And so when you're able to do that, your ability to close, your ability to serve is that much greater. And that's what I want everyone to really understand when they go into business. It's easy to just be like, I want opportunity everywhere. But one, what is your product? What is exactly you're offering to your client? And who's your ideal client? Who do you want to help? With Diana, she mentioned she knows this insurance agent, but this insurance agent needs salespeople. We're not quite sure how to help them. But then she mentioned that she works with a lot of business owners, and we definitely know how to work with small business owners, and that's something we specialize in because Anthony and I are small business owners, and we know that we can help small business owners set up CRM, processes, set up trainings. And ideally, we'd like to work with a small business owner that has most of these things set up so we can help throw gasoline on a fire, especially if their business is growing. That is a general, kind of niching down, but that's halfway. If you really want to niche down, really figure out who you're serving. If you're a real estate agent and you're watching this, I'm a real estate agent and I serve, veterans and I help veterans get homes. That is so much more powerful than saying I can help anyone get into a home, right?
Yeah.
Now you resonate with all the veterans, and there's probably more veterans than you can serve in a given town, even.
Yeah, and actually, and the reason why I was typing so loud again, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, this is a lot for me, a lot of consulting for me as anyway. So one of the things we said we're going to build or revamp the website, right? Because the website needs a facelift. But as you're talking, I'm like, okay, envisioning wow, you know what? There are very clear niches that we serve, right? We probably are the leading provider in the real estate marketing space. We also work with e-commerce companies as well as Facebook ad agencies. And each one of those can have its own page. So for example, for real estate marketing, what is it that we do and why should you work with us? Yeah. Because we can find people who are already for example, pre-trained on certain softwares. If you need specific type of photo editing, specific type of video editing, right? And we can and also put our case studies on that one page. And then for example, for the e-com clients that we service clients who have stores on Walmart as well as Amazon, and not people that do drop shipping or not people that do private label, but we work with direct manufacturers. So for them, they want to hear keywords hey, we will keep you within CLA compliance. We'll make sure that we hire somebody who knows how to troubleshoot products. We'll make sure that we hire somebody who has previously worked for a Walmart account, who has previously worked for whatever other online platforms it is that you serve, someone who knows how to respond to your clients on social media, someone who knows how to generate reviews, right? So we need to create these little landing pages of things that we already do with people we already know, and maybe even put those virtual assistants that we have already hired who are currently working, maybe put a sample of them of hey, my name is blah, 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 and I currently work for blah, 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 and this is what I do for them on a daily basis.
Way more powerful, way more
and that. Saying, hey, we offer VAs.
Yeah, so, and then your targeting, your messaging can be so much more clear, and then same with your case studies and the people that you serve, they're well, who else have you worked with? This company and this company that also do what you do, and we understand your problem, and that's why we can better serve you. And when you can better serve someone, you can charge, the value you can create, which is more.
The value you create, which is more.
So one last thing I want to touch upon, and this was something that I wanted to provide you is, now that we know our niche, now that we know our ideal client, how do we prospect them and how do we leverage into these opportunities? The first is, having really meaningful conversations. People don't really care to help you unless they know how much you care to help them, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Pretty common saying in business. when it comes to the start of a conversation, especially in business, you can shoot the shit, you can build rapport, you can have fun, you can talk about sports, you can talk about things you have in common, where you grew up. Great, that's a good baseline. But when you're talking to business owners, what are the two most important things that you should discuss as early as possible in the conversation? Is their goals and their challenges. And how can you help them achieve their goals, and how can you help them overcome their challenges? The more that you can do that, the more powerful and valuable you are in that conversation, and the more that you can actually create an opportunity for them. Like when I ask, hey, what's your goal? Your goal is to double your revenue. What's that? 1 million to 2 million, $250,000 to $500,000. Great. If I can help you do that, what's that worth to you? Right? And sometimes it's about challenges. Oh, my staff is too expensive. How much do you spend on your staff? My staff is too expensive. I'm hoping to, I'm not looking to lay anyone off, but I'm hoping my next couple hires can be in the $10 an hour range. Okay, well, what does that role look like? Oh, we can absolutely staff virtual assistants for $10 an hour that can do X, Y, Z, and so much more. Great, now you've created value. Like they're used to paying 20, now you can charge 10. Okay, if I can help you bring on 3 team members at 10 instead of 20, what's that worth to your business? That's $16,000 a year, right? Hold on, am I doing math right? 10, that's like almost $20,000 a year per head. Times 3, that's $60,000 worth of value you can create for their business. Mm-hmm. And now when you go into asking for consulting, you're like, hey, I can easily do this. I do need, for me to give this time and attention, I do need some value to get started. For us to engage, I see that you don't have a CRM, you don't have systems, you don't have processes set up. I can bring in one of my lead account executives and onboarding experts to help set that up for you. And now you'll have a platform where you can bring on VAs very easily and train them rapidly. And for a one time, I can save you $60,000 already just from the 3 VAs. But for me to set this up, it's going to be like a 2-3 month process. It's going to be around $15,000. Is that an investment that makes sense to you? You're going to get a 4x ROI if we're able to set up systems, processes, trainings, and then be able to onboard 3 VAs to your business as you continue to grow and save you $60,000 a year and get your 4x ROI. See how much more powerful that is when you consult businesses? Because, and the most important thing is solving pain points for businesses. A lot of businesses, they aren't rapidly growing, especially in this economy. They're facing challenges, and how do you help them quantify what that challenge is? Oh, how much time do you spend doing this manual task? Oh, it takes up an hour a day of your time. How much is your time worth? Oh, $100 an hour? So you're telling me you're spending $500 a week doing a task which you can easily outsource for, $10 an hour or $20 an hour. You can not only make $80, minimum by hiring someone else, you also get an hour of your time back. It's almost a no-brainer. And so to help business owners and individuals quantify when you can help them achieve their goals, you can help them overcome their challenges, and you can get them from their current situation to their ideal situation, that is how you, if you're a service-based professional or you're selling a product, can sell the product every time to your ideal client. If they have those challenges, if they have those goals that you can help them with, there's no reason why, if you can do what you say you're gonna do, you can't charge for a fraction of that value, whether it's $15,000 out of $60K or $1,000 out of $4,000. And that is my first lesson in Consulting 101. If you've enjoyed it, please follow Anthony, Scalability Podcast, and Brendan, through the Partners podcast, and we'll have more content like this.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this, guys, too. I think, for me, so I actually just real quick want to talk about like why, in short, for me, from my perspective, why I wanted Brendan to be an equal partner, even though I know that he's very busy with everything else that he's doing. So if you guys don't know about Brendan yet, this is the most savage person that I know. He's probably like yeah, nobody. No, if you just don't know him, this guy's insane. Okay, like I thought I had sickening work ethic until I met him, and then I remember the first day that I went with him to this was like years ago, right? I remember he's like, "Yo, come to my house." And we get to his house in the morning, and this dude literally, like, he gets up, or I get there, he opens the door, he's already on the phone, and he's like, puts down the phone, he's like, hey, I'll be with you in a sec, just hang out. And then he hops on a call, and he's doing a sales pitch, gets off the sales pitch, like, hey, bro, come with me here. And I'm like, you're not gonna eat nothing? He's like, no, we gotta go, get in the car, we gotta go to the office. And this dude just all day long, for going to the office, hey, we gotta go to a meeting over here, boom. All right, and literally, like, we went that entire day. This is the first day that, like, I ever got to, like, see him work. But this guy did not stop the entire day, okay? Closing deals, making decisions for the business, like, so I know who he is. We've became friends, over time. Our friendship has become closer. I think we really respect each other a lot in business. But for me, why did I choose to give up part of my business to anybody, right? Because there's so many people out there who would never give a portion of their business. They want to be 100% owner. Well, I've been building this thing for about 7 years. This S Corp that we currently have right now has been in play for about 4 years. And things didn't really get real until about like 4 or 5 years ago. So I know what 4 or 5 years of me being a majority owner of my company looks like. I know I'm very clear on that, right? And also before I even started my own company, I served other entrepreneurs. And that was my biggest strength, was like, okay, what's the vision that you have, and like making that vision come to life. And I knew that that was my biggest strength, my biggest asset, right? I am an amazing soldier. How have I been as a leader of a company? If I judge myself, I'll give myself a 5.5 out of 10. Okay, there's so many things that I can improve on. I have mental health issues. I'm very emotional. I'm a single father. Like, I have all these different things. So, for me, I'm like, hey, why, Outsource Plug enough as a client. Also, you've been a minority business partner, and, you've helped out a little bit here and there. But, what's the vision? What do you think we could actually take this thing if we partnered up? And you had way more incentive to grow this. And, I actually think within a 5-year goal that I had, I feel that we're going to accomplish it within 2. So for me, again, it's like, now it's like, how do I'm willing to put down my ego, and I'm willing to say, all right, look, I am willing to execute on every single thing that you say. You have full reign of the business now. My army is now your army. Like, let's go.
Right? Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, and we'll see. We'll talk about problems. But like, I just have this theory that if I support Brendan and all of his vision, I mean, look, he literally just earlier hopped on a call with the client that I've had for a year, and he just created an opportunity that I didn't create over the last year. So what's going to happen if I give him access to even, or not give him, but now all of the clients that we have, like, he now is going to work with them more actively, probably just from our current base of clients.
Yeah.
You can triple or quadruple.
I think it's about teaching, right? My goal is, I'm at a place where I am involved in several businesses that have anywhere between half a dozen employees to, multiple dozen. And it's about, how do you create operational leverage? And I think it starts with mindset. It starts with strategy, and then it trickles down in your ability to implement and execute and train. How do you train team members to, and how do you find, which is something Anthony specializes in, how do you find team members that are good, that can execute, that can be trainable, that can be coachable? And it's actually, I thought it was there's two sides of the coin. I've always thought like you should hire someone very skilled, but I actually love hiring based off attitude and the willingness to learn, because right now I work with 4 more or less like college students at Acre Partner, and they're just so like willing to learn and implement like right away, as opposed to someone later in their career, they're kind of stuck in their ways.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's all the content that's on my page. The kid who does all that, he was at El Pollo Loco.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to shoot. He didn't know how to edit. He didn't know anything.
And hustle can't be taught, and the hustle energy is so important in a startup. And so, if you're running a startup and you want to connect and build that hustle energy together, Anthony, you're out in Cupertino in the heart of Silicon Valley.
Yep.
I'm out in San Diego, SoCal. So if you don't live in California, you're welcome to visit us in either one of these big metros.
Yep.
And we're always down to jam out with entrepreneurs. And if you want to slide in our DMs and just talk shop, we're always down to see what we can do to help your business. So thank you for joining the Scalability Partners podcast today, special episode. And we're excited to bring you more content, hopefully a lot of content that's going to serve your business and help you double this year.
Hey, you guys have a wonderful holiday. Let's get it.
Happy holidays.